instead of its resourcefulness. Okay? No white commercial newspaper or magazine in the entire country so much as mentioned Robeson's book. And then that's what Horne writes, but then I say, not according to Linwood Davis, which Miss Michael and Miss Sherry had put up in this case here. And that's an important book. It's a book that often gets ignored. It's called A Paul Robeson Research Guide, a selected and annotated bibliography. It gives you every single summary of every single source about Robeson. And you'll see, even during Here I Stand in 53, they were talking about it, you know. So it wasn't a complete blacklist, in part because of Robeson's Freedom family. This is my last slide. Horne says there were simply too many important demands on his time. One of these was Nnamdi Azikiwe, founding father of soon-to-be independent Nigeria. And I underlined Horne's word independent, right? What does Horne mean by independent? And then I quote, this is an important quote, when we talk about the revolution that Robeson was interested in. This is a quote from Fidel Castro. How could a, and he's saying this in Spanish, it was translated by Julio Garcia Luis. How could a government and a country which has to go every month to discuss with the International Monetary Fund what it must do at home be called independent? This is a make-believe independence, and we see this as a struggle for national liberation, which can truly bring together all the social strata in a struggle. Bourgeoisie, proletariat, all of them together in a struggle to attain their true independence, right? So independent, you know, Horne celebrates Robeson for, you know, being connected with these individuals who would be independent figures. But what does independence mean? And how was it still falling short of what Robeson saw as revolution, workers' revolution that was necessary? The youth began to realize who had been the leader of this epochal trend when they talk about Robeson in his later life. And my question is, can individuals instead of organizations like SNCC, which Miss Esther Cooper Jackson was in 1942, and her husband James Jackson, that I'm looking at Mr. Adams that knew them personally, that's probably one of the biggest glaring omissions of this book by Horne, is that he doesn't talk about SNYC, SNCC, not SNCC, SNYC, Southern Negro Youth Congress's relationship with Robeson and how they invited him to Birmingham in 1942, and that was when he first was introduced to Louis Burnham, who would later, when the government shut Robeson down, Burnham would be the one to manage Freedom newspaper and promote it all over the country. Finally, this quote by Horne I totally disagree with, but it is important to mention, is when Horne says, he, Robeson, tended to misestimate the mass strength of ultra-conservatism in his homeland, okay, which contributed to naive, not according to me, invisible to who? Not to me, Morrison said at the time, not to me. Contributed to naive, Horne says, Robeson has naive projections about the pace and prospect of progressive change. You know, so Horne is basically saying that he's naive, but no, you can't be naive with these people, especially as an artist, when you can make money that can have a voice. Artists we see today like Beyonce, the way Robeson was an artist back in the day, using her platform, using her wealth to make a voice, to make a difference, to pay, for example, for scholarships for students to go to Howard. I taught one of her scholarship recipients. So artists have an incredible power. They have the power to speak about revolution in ways that people who don't have the immediate wealth have. So his projections were not naive. And I thank you so much for your indulgence.